This week in the NFL, will the Cleveland Browns get their first win in a long time? Will Ryan Fitzpatrick keep up the Fitz magic he's been having the last 2 weeks? How will Carson Wentz do in his return, as he has been cleared to play this week against the Colts? These questions will be answered in Week 3. Johnny Talk Sports here to bring you my Week 3 NFL predictions. Last week, not a good week. 8-8. And I know what you're saying. How could you be having that record when we had a tie? Well, same thing I was explaining it last week. Give yourself an easy win, whether you pick Minnesota or Green Bay, because everybody won because nobody lost. Only person that lost that game was Daniel Carlson. He's the only person that lost. So, unless you're Daniel Carlson, give yourself a win for the Minnesota Green Bay pick you made. So that's why I went 8-8. And 8-8 is 50%. It's, I don't know, some could say it's acceptable, but in my book it's not acceptable. And just like every week, last year I said I was going to respond. I'm going to respond. And just to show you how confident I am that I'm going to respond, I normally don't do this, but I'm going to tell you what my record's going to be. I will guarantee you that I go at least 11-5 this week. Either 11-5 or 12-4. I'm going to have at least a record like that. So let's get right to it. The New York Jets versus the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are just so close. They've been getting so close to winning that first game. They can almost taste it. They had the opportunities in the first 2 weeks of the year. But special teams have been a problem. And this Thursday night against the New York Jets, the Cleveland Browns will finally get that win. I've got the Browns beating the Jets. I know a lot of people are going to pick the Jets, but I'm going to pick the Browns. Because why? Well, because we're just starting off these predictions with a bang here. Picking the Browns. Alright, here's kind of where it gets obvious a little bit. The Buffalo Bills versus the Minnesota Vikings. Come on. It doesn't matter who they start at quarterback, whether it's going to be Nathan Peterman, Josh Allen, or A.J. McCarron. This Vikings defense is going to have at least 3 picks, I think. I'm taking Minnesota. And they just signed Dan Bailey, so they should have no problems with field goals, as Dan Bailey is the second most accurate kicker of all time. Next matchup, the New York Giants versus the Houston Texans. Do I even need to make a pick for this one? I mean, come on, both these teams are 0-2. Both these teams have really shown no signs of life. But I'm picking the Texans because I just think the Texans have shown more potential so far than the Giants have. I know Saquon Barkley's been doing great so far. He's been doing pretty solid. The Giants put up a nice effort against the Jaguars, and the Texans put up a nice effort against the Patriots. Week 2, it just seemed like these teams wasn't showing a lot of effort. But I've kind of liked what I've seen out of the Texans so far, a little bit more than I have the Giants, which is why I'm going to take the Texans. A lot of young talent in this game, though. Deshaun Watson and Saquon Barkley in the same game. It's going to be an exciting one to watch, but it'd be more exciting if the teams weren't 0-2. Next, for the Green Bay Packers versus the Washington Redskins, I'm taking the Packers here. The Redskins were just completely embarrassed last week against the Colts, and that's the last thing you want to see if you're the Washington Redskins after getting embarrassed by a quarterback that's only playing in his second game since 2016, 2015. The last thing you want to see is Aaron Rodgers, especially after a tie. That's the last thing you want to see. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise you if Green Bay wins by more than 14 or more than 20. That's the last thing you want to see is a very angry Aaron Rodgers. Next matchup, honestly what I think is going to be the game of the week. The San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Pat Mahomes has just been on fire these first 2 weeks. 10 touchdown passes, no picks. Versus the San Francisco 49ers, who kind of got their groove back a little bit, even though it was just the Lions. I think this could be an offensive battle, but I think the difference in this one is not only going to be Pat Mahomes in the passing game. I think it's going to be that crowd in Arrowhead. I expect this to be an offensive battle, kind of like how it was for the Chiefs and Steelers last week. But I think Kansas City comes out on top here. I think they feed off the energy in Arrowhead and get the win. Next, we have the Oakland Raiders versus the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have shocked us all so far by being 2-0. They've shocked us. And the Raiders have also shocked us by being 0-2. But I think the Raiders get their first win. And it came oh so close. John Gruden can almost taste that first win. So far my picks, I've got some people getting their first wins. I got the Browns getting their first win. I got John Gruden getting his first win, being back as a head coach. Because the Raiders were just oh so close last week. And the Broncos, another fourth quarter miracle. But I don't think there will be something to screw over the Raiders this time. Next, we got the Indianapolis Colts versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think this would be a very underrated matchup of the week. I feel like maybe this isn't the most intriguing matchup, but I like the quarterback matchup with Andrew Luck and Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz playing in his first game ever since the torn ACL, which sidelined him for the rest of the Super Bowl run. And I'm taking the Eagles. I just feel like Carson Wentz is going to show. I think he's going to show that he's still the same Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is going to throw 5 touchdown passes against this Colts defense. Colts defense really hasn't been that consistent over the years. And I think Carson Wentz takes full advantage of that. 5 touchdown passes for Carson Wentz. Eagles win big. Next are the Tennessee Titans versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, honestly, I think the Jaguars are extremely overrated, okay? I think that the Jaguars are just... I still think it's fluky stuff. I just still think they're a fluke of a team. And look, they may have a good defense. I understand the whole Saxonville and Duval, but the Jaguars, they're still overrated to me. But I still think they win this week. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. Next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals and Carolina Panthers. I'm taking the Panthers in this one. I know I've seen some people in the NFL YouTube Prognosticators Facebook group that the Panthers, they see the Panthers overrated. But I kind of don't. I just feel like last week in Atlanta, Atlanta was feeding off the home crowd a bit. And I think with Carolina being back home, I think they're going to use their crowd to their advantage. I got the Panthers. I think this could be a close one. I mean, if we have a tie this week, it's probably going to be this matchup. All right, next. Actually, I think, now that I think about it, wasn't the last time these two teams played each other, didn't end in a tie? Somebody comment down below if I'm correct, because I feel like last time these two played each other, they tied. Or at least they did at some point, and it was probably more recently, like maybe 2016, that these two teams played each other and ended in a tie. Or if it was 2015 or 14. I don't know, for some reason I felt like those two tied once. And it was kind of recently, like a couple years ago. Alright, next for the Denver Broncos and Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens just really looked like crap on Thursday night against the Bengals. A lot of people thought the Ravens could be a surprise team, make the playoffs after a Week 1 performance like that. Okay, honestly, Case Keenum has just come through in the clutch so far for Denver. And I think he does it again. I think the Broncos go to 3-0. I mean, the Broncos really improved that defense in the offseason. And Case Keenum has obviously proven me wrong right now. It looks like Jeff Fisher was basically what was holding Case Keenum back. And I think Case Keenum leads another clutch moment for the Broncos, but maybe he doesn't come through in the clutch. Maybe he can kind of get it wrapped up a little bit earlier. Or maybe the defense can get a pick 6 on Joe Flacco. Either way, I got the Broncos winning. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, I'm a little bit nervous about this pick. This is one of those picks that I'm not that confident about. If I miss at least 4 picks this week, this is gonna be one of them. I guarantee it. I'm picking the Falcons, although I feel like this could be an offensive battle. Although the last time these two teams played in Atlanta, it was a defensive battle. But I just think Atlanta, kind of like last week, they feed off of their home crowd. They feed off the energy. Falcons win. Next, we have the Battle of Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Chargers versus Los Angeles Rams. I've got the Rams winning this one. I got to give credit where it's due. Sean McVay has really turned this Rams team around. And I think the Rams are the hottest team the hottest team in the NFL right now, other than the Kansas City Chiefs. In fact, I'd love to see the Rams versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Two young quarterbacks, Jared Goff versus Pat Mahomes. That'd be pretty exciting. But I've got the Rams winning this matchup. I think this is going to be high scoring though. I think the Rams win 44-42. I feel like this is the type of a game where the Chargers lose on a missed field goal. Especially with the game that's going to be that high scoring, 44-42. Next, we have the Chicago Bears versus Arizona Cardinals. The Bears, they had a nice response win on Monday Night Football versus the Seahawks. And I think they're going to carry that momentum into a win like that and win against the Cardinals. Although the Cardinals are a pretty sneaky team. They've pulled off some upsets in their home stadium. So this is one to watch out for, but I think the Bears are going to win this one. I think they're going to get it done. All right, next are the Dallas Cowboys versus Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 0-2. I mean, if the Seahawks lose this game, it can be a huge dent in the Seahawks season. Even though the Seahawks always look like the playoff contender, it's a rebuilding year for them. But I think the Seahawks feed off of the 12th man. And I think Russell Wilson can make the plays this week to give Seattle the win. This is probably one I'm going to be completely wrong on, but I feel like the Seahawks are going to win this one, win a low-scoring one. As a matter of fact, I think Seattle wins 20-13. I think it's going to be that low-scoring of a game. All right, Sunday night game, we got New England Patriots versus Detroit Lions. Come on. There is no way the Patriots lose 2 in a row. I can't remember the last time the Patriots lost 2 games in a row in the Tom Brady era. Can you remember? Exactly. New England wins big. And next for the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Ryan Fitzpatrick with the Fitz magic. Okay, honestly, I feel like something's got to be going on because for some reason somebody had to have known that Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to play this well so far this season to put him on Monday night against a team like the Steelers. Somebody had to have known something. Because there's just no way that I would ever think Tampa Bay would be on a Monday night game this early in the season. Although this is the last scheduled start for Ryan Fitzpatrick before Jameis Winston comes back from the suspension. But hey, if Ryan Fitzpatrick throws for 400 yards again, maybe they're just going to say, sit on the bench, Jameis. They're probably going to tell him that. And will Le'Veon Bell show up? Will he play in this game? I think it doesn't matter, though. I just feel like, I don't know. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think there should be more points scored in this game than what people think. I know the Steelers don't really have a consistent defense, but the Buccaneers don't have a consistent defense either, though. I'm taking the Steelers in an offensive battle. I think it's going to be very high-scoring. I'm going to say 35-31. So those are my picks for Week 3. Those keeping score at home, I've got the Browns, Vikings, Texans, Packers, Chiefs, Raiders, Eagles, Jaguars, Panthers, Broncos, Falcons, Rams, Bears, Seahawks, Patriots, and Steelers all winning this week. Like I told you, we're at least going 11-5 this week, or 12-4. We're at least getting one of those records. So, like, share, subscribe. Also, comment your picks down below. And as always, have a wonderful night or day whenever you're watching. See you next time.